I have a wonderful, amazing client here, Tiffany Easley, and she's going to talk to you about her experience in the challenge. What's up, Tiffany? Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hi, Coach LT. I'm Tiffany R. Easley, the source strategist, and I help women overcome challenges, live meaningful lives, and soar. SOAR is an acronym for see it, own it, attain it, and regift it. And your it is your who or your what, your why, and your yes. Yes to God and yes to yourself. That is who I am, and that is what I do on the coaching side of the house. And then on the self care side of the house, I help you do all of those things, but prioritize self care by understanding self care is not selfish and that you must take care of you before you can help anyone else.
Amen. And so you are an amazing author already. Let's talk about before you even got into the challenge or heard about the challenge, let's talk about your success already as an author.
So I started writing when I was 9. That's a long time ago because I will never see 9 years old again. I started writing at 9 as a way to cope with all the things that was happening in my life. My story starts with chronic illness. It was 16 years of chronic illness, starting at 3, ending at 19. And so through social work, through therapy, through all the things, writing was my true therapy. So I started writing poetry and never in a million years thought I would publish anything. And my mom kept all of my poetry. And one day she goes, "Why don't you try to publish?" Sure, whatever. So I did my research. Google is Google and you can Google anything. And so I Googled this publisher in the area and sent my manuscript, which was handwritten at the time, hadn't even been typed. And they were like, absolutely, we will publish it. So that was my first experience. And I did not know what I was doing. I'm going to be completely honest. I had no clue. And then what ended up happening is I got the book published, but that's only one half of the puzzle, right? You have a book, but your book just doesn't like make money, doesn't make you credible. You got to do something with the book, right? So marketing was the next piece, and I didn't know marketing at that time. I was not even in college as of yet. And so what I did is I just tapped into what I believe is a gift that I have. I am a visionary. I can visualize things and make them happen. Definitely not accolades to myself, definitely accolades to God. I am a woman of faith and I know it's the gift that He's placed on my life. So I decided to do this whole marketing thing, right? I'm from a small town. My mom has a strip of land. My uncle at the time had access to tents. We pitched a tent. I ordered pens. I had my books. I had all these marketing items. I fed the people barbecue sandwiches, potato chips, and a soda, and sold on my book. And in little 4 hours, I made my money back that I invested in the book in a profit. So that was my first experience as an author. Did I think many books later that I'd still be writing? Absolutely not. And even when I say I'm an author now, it's who I am, and it aids in all the things that I do because it builds the credibility. But I am now 4 solo projects in and multiple collaborations in, and it just is who I am. So going into the challenge, I did not go into that challenge with the know-it-all attitude. I went into that challenge saying, I have something I need to learn. I went into the challenge saying, yeah, I'm a creative. I write creatively, but I need to learn how the technical side of the thing. I need to know how to write a book that is really structured from a technical perspective. So I went in hungry. I went in greedy. I went in wanting to get it all, right? I wanted everything. I asked the questions. I participated. I did what I needed to do during that challenge to get what I needed to get to go to the next level. Coming out of that challenge, that construct that you have Oh, I'm confident I can write any book. And yes, I can do it in 5 days. Why? Because you gave me the tool to do it. It is something that is, and I'm going to say simple, but not simple because the construct itself is simple, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of really understanding where you are mentally and the work you're willing to put in at the time. You have to
Absolutely.
be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to show up. You have to be willing to, get in the class and do the work. And when the stretch comes, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about that, when the
And the
stretch
belt.
comes that you don't cry and crawl up into this ball and say, "Oh my God, I can't do it," because here's the deal: the stretch is so necessary. So that is kind of the evolution of me writing, the reason I went into the challenge, and how I am in a better position coming out of the challenge.
Thank you so much. Let's back up a little bit for those people who are watching this on the replay. Y'all just put hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay, and make sure wherever you are on all my platforms, you type the word challenge so that you can jump into the next challenge, which is coming up on June 3rd, y'all. You do not want to miss this experience because it is something that is definitely going to change the way you do everything when it comes to your book. Okay. So here's where I want to back up because I want people to understand how relationships are born, right? How the seeds get planted, how when the time is right, the harvest comes, and it's always a divine timing for things to just line up. You and I met, I think, a year and a half ago. You want to talk about that, how we came across each other's paths and how it came back around kind of full circle?
That is so true. I couldn't remember how long ago it has been. So yes, I met Coach LT on another platform with a mutual friend, right? And it was like coach love at first sight,
Yes.
I
Yes.
came in the room, I was there to present, I presented, and it was like she was my cheerleader from jump, right? And I think I was in the chat, like, we gotta talk. Did I know why we needed to talk? Absolutely did not, but I
Yes.
just knew that she was a person I needed in my tribe, right? So during that presentation, there was something that she said, just the way she showed up, her spirit, her energy, all the things. I was like, oh, I need her. Now, fast forward a year and a half later, it was because I needed to really hone in on my writing skill from a technical perspective. I am a creative, which means I just creatively flow. I write poetry, I write inspirational things, but I did not have a structure. After this challenge, I have a structure to write not only those types of things, but a best selling book that answers a problem in the world.
Amen.
And that was something I did not have. So I learned so much. So I was a sponge. I was there ready to soak it all up. I was like, okay, let's go, let's go. I had a journal. I had my phone. I have notes everywhere. So as I began that journey, I went in as a blank slate, not a person who has written books and been through the process and knows it all. I went in as, okay, I do know some stuff, but I don't know this stuff. So let me get this stuff so I can go even higher in this authorship because it's needed.
Ooh, you said a word I love, authorship. That I always tell people being an author is an identity and it is a lifestyle. Once you jump into this pool, you cannot help but to come out inspired and refreshed because the ideas that we put out, they're not for us. They come to us and through us and they go out and they bless other people. And so this is a spiritual activity as well as a physical, emotional expression. Is very, very spiritual. So let's talk about how did you find out about the challenge? Because that's really the full circle. Because I remember you being in the anthology process with the other group. And I remember being in the room, like you lit the room on fire. I was like, wow, whoa. When you were done, I was like, wow, okay there that whoa, and that's when I started sending you messages like, wow, that was phenomenal, because you never know when we pour in, You never know. And in that moment, you poured into everybody in the room, including me. I was like, what? You came in there, and I was like, oh my goodness, she is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And then we didn't see each other for months.
We didn't. We did not. But it wasn't like a disconnect though,
Mm-hmm.
because I saw a post. You put a post, and I was like, wait a second. So the first post was a writing clinic, right?
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me go up in this writing clinic. It's Coach LT. I'm down. Like whatever she doing, I'm there. So I went in there and I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. And you mentioned the challenge in the clinic, and I said, writing a book in 5 days. Now, here's how things work, because I knew it was time for me to write a book. I knew that. And I just knew I was going to go into this class. I was going to write the book that I knew I had in my mind and all the things. And let me just tell you guys something. This challenge let me know, yeah, I knew I had a book in me, but I had thought that I knew what book was in me, okay? By the end of the challenge, an entire new book was birthed. Not only a book, but a program that was full circle. So that's the currency of relationship, because you have to understand, I met Coach LT in a totally separate setting.
Amen.
Months pass by. I see a post about a writing clinic. I show up all because of the relationship that she and I had from the previous platform, right? I go to the writing clinic. She drops the announcement about the challenge. I show up again, all because of the relationship. And then I get in there and birth a whole book, a whole new book, a whole new movement, a whole new piece of what it is I've been put in the earth to do, and bringing it full circle to something that happened in 2012. That's the currency of relationship.
Yes.
And that's something that many times as authors, we don't understand. You may not get it right then, but people that you enter the room, whether it's a physical room, a virtual room, whatever, there is an opportunity to build a relationship that is going to be a type of currency that will never die. And it transcends nations. When I say nations, I mean you could be in Africa and that relationship is still valid. When we understand that, we can be so powerful, not just in the words that we write, but in how we show up.
Yes. Ooh, you hit it. You hit it. The top of my head is tingling right now. The whole top of my head. And it ain't because I dieted yesterday. It's because you just sent some energy through me. And I have to share this too, because when I was creating my roster for the challenge and I saw people signing up and I said, oh, that's Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany's coming. Da, da, da. And then I looked at it again. I said, that's the Tiffany? That's
Oh
Tiffany?
no.
Tiffany, that's the Tiffany. Because when I saw your name come through and I saw you in the clinic, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Tiffany's here. But then when I thought about it, I said, oh, yes. Tiffany is in the building. So I was like, I knew that the level of energy in the room for my event was getting ready to be off the charts. Because you and I, this is what I want people to know. You and I are colleagues, we're peers. We both provided tremendous value on the other platform that we met on. And so coming in, some people could have been like, oh, well, I'm intimidated by her. She's coming into my program. Oh my gosh, what is she going to learn from me? Right? Like that could have been the narrative. Oh my God, she's already written multiple books, blah, 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 blah. I said, I did not allow any of that. I said, she's going to add fire. It's going to be phenomenal. And it was.
It
It
was.
was because everyone in the room, when everyone left and I took a survey afterwards, everyone's cup was overflowing because of the caliber of people that were in the room. So it was you and it was multiple other people that I have known for years as well. And it was like, wow, you cannot, I could not have put that roster together by myself to be that explosive.
Wow.
It was explosive. It was a blessing. And I'm very grateful for you for coming in blazing.
I appreciate it. Like again, like you said, when you have that caliber of a person, sometimes you can get in your own way, right? But I knew I was there as the sponge. As I like to say, the grasshopper, right? I was there as the grasshopper. I was not there as the person who's published books and all the things. That was not me. I was there because I knew there was a book in me and I knew it was the season to get it out and I knew you could help me do it. And then to show up and tell me that I can do it in 5 days, oh, I'm down. Like what? To tell me, not only are you gonna help me get a book, you're gonna tell me I can do it in 5 days.
Yes.
Let's go. Like
Let's
I need to know
go.
what you know. Like that's the thing. But because we do have that synergy energy, we do have that sisterhood, we do have that respect for each other as professionals. It was easy, right? It was so easy because I believe in you and I believe in your platform. I believe in what you do. So I was sitting there like, okay, I need to make sure I got plenty of pens. I got paper. I got backup if my phone goes down, all the things because I did not want to miss anything because I knew it was going to become a lifestyle for me. That was going to be the way I was going to be able to be successful and write in a different kind of space. So it
Ooh,
was crucial that I got every piece and that I use every piece. And I'm so intentional, even not to give away what everybody's going to learn, but
yeah.
even how to approach the writing, right? How to get in the mindset of writing and understanding that you can't just sit down and start writing. That's
Mhm.
not going to work. You can dump, but you're not going to be able to write. There's a difference. And
Yeah.
so for me to be able to walk away from that and recognize that now, I'm like, oh my goodness, my life is forever changed as an author because of that process.
Ooh-wee. Thank you for talking about that transformation because that is so important. Authors, we get into our head and we do this alone so long that when we get into a setting like a challenge with other people, it feels uncomfortable because it's like, oh, wait a minute, I have to share like my ideas with everybody. Like, uh-oh. But then it's refreshing because you start to find out, oh, I'm not the only one over here struggling. I'm not the only one that's scared. Oh, I'm not the only one that's a little bit behind. Oh, okay.
Right.
Let's talk about just the first part of the week, right? Let's just talk about going through, and I won't tell everybody the type of activities we did because I want them to come in. But in the beginning, we had to talk about topics, we had to talk about outlining, we had to talk about structure, we had to get into a whole like just nitty gritty details before we could even write. Some people would allow that to frustrate them because, like you said, it's a lot of grasshoppers that come into my programs and they're got the pen and the paper and they're like, okay, I'm gonna be right. But it's there's so much that needs to happen up here. What were the first 2 days like for you?
Whoa. The first 2 days for me were, I don't want to overuse this word, but it's the best description, transformative. Because I came in with this, oh yeah, I got this. I'm gonna write about this and I'm gonna do this and da 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 da. I'm learning from the best, but I'm gonna do this. And because of your framework, I was able to see, no, you already have that over there. This is where you need to be. This is something that you had years ago and you missed it. Now's the opportunity. And this is the construct you need to make it happen. And
Mm,
I was sitting there like, I gotta go now. Like, really? Like, I gotta go deep, right? So, from each of your steps, from each of the things you took us through, um, that first step, I thought to myself, now, wait just a second. I just usually come up, I just look, I'm creative. I just create stuff. And coach was like, no, that's not it. And I would just go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, well, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? And it finally became it, right? So walking away from day one, I was not overwhelmed. That was not the stretch. That was just really helping me frame how I think as a writer, right? Because one thing I realized in your class that I may not have shared with you is there is a creative writer and then there is a writer. That's my word. I am now a writer because I know how to do it. I know the art of it. I know the technical and artsy side of it. I only knew the artsy creative side of it, but now I know the technical side of it. So when people are like, you need to write this way, I can do that. Why? Because of the challenge, because of your construct, because of the stretching, because of the thinking outside of the box. I now have a framework that transcends just that creative space and I can write. So it's exciting. It's very, very interesting. I'm like, hmm, I wish I would have known this about 5 books back. It's okay. That means I got 5 extra books to come up with, but it's okay. But day one was really transformative for me because I really had to sit and think and go, hmm, it's just not all about creativity. Who are you reaching? Who are you talking? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Why are you talking about it? Do people care that you're talking about it?
yeah.
Will they care? Does it help them? And so it was very, very insightful, very, very helpful.
Let's talk a little bit about community. And I know we're way over, but that's okay. This is juicy juice. We can't not stop now because we in this. Let's talk about the community because when you jumped in, I mean, you just jumped in and the community exploded because again, the energy and the synergy in the room was something that I could not build. I couldn't plan, I couldn't build, I couldn't anticipate. Talk about just being in the challenge with the people that you were in the challenge with. What did that feel like?
It literally felt like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You never know who you're going to be in a room with in a challenge, right? You don't know who signs up for the challenge. You show up, and when I tell you our group, it was just like having all of these sisters that you never met. And then all of a sudden, you come into a room one day and they're all there. And you're like, oh my God, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
Um, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. The vulnerability, the support, the ability to be naked and unafraid. And when I say naked, I mean very transparent. This is where I am. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. And really trusting each other. Like I've never experienced anything like that. And it's like even now we're still in contact with each other. From time to time, I'm posting and saying, okay, so where we at? What we doing? How we feeling? What's going on? And I think that's just a natural thing that I have. But I noticed that with each of the people in our group, it didn't even take, I think by day two, we were like wrapped tight. Like,
Yes.
listen, if you're not showing up, we on the phone, like, where you at? What's going on? What's the problem? Do you need some help? What is the struggle? If there's a person that had a block, okay, so what is it that you need? And if we didn't have the time, then we're giving them, schedules. I got 15 minutes here, whatever.
Yeah.
So to have that camaraderie, to have that sisterhood, it was surreal. I literally know that that group was plucked together for a reason. And it's beyond the books that we're creating. It's beyond the that season, right? It's a lifetime. Those are lifetime connections. Those are people that we're going to show up for each other's events. We're going to cheer each other on. We're going to tear together, cry together, do what we got to do together because we know the value of that relationship. There's that word again, relationship. It's that currency of relationship that was built by day 2,
Mhm.
not 4 and 5. By day 4 and 5, oh, we like family. Like at this point, I mean, I need to know your kids and everything else at this point because we were so vested in each other's success. We
Amen.
were there to make sure we all crossed the finish line, and that when we had our moments of, I don't think I could do this, that we pushed each other toward the finish line.
I love it. Yes. Amen. I want to talk about what you walked away with, but also we cannot skip the part about what when did I have to get out my belt for you? What was the challenge, like the hardest thing for you to overcome? How did you overcome that? And then we go over to what you walked away with, because this is the part that is not sexy, right? People want to talk about all the sexy stuff that we do, when we get on stage and we speak and we coach and we have our lipstick on. But we were rolling up our sleeves. I mean, from me coaching, teaching, and pouring everything out to you all just doing the work and we were in the trenches. Tell the people something or two things, whatever you want to say, about what it was that challenged you the most.
Man, listen, the biggest challenge for me was going in a direction that I needed to go, but I didn't want to go. I wanted the shortcut. It's like in your car and the GPS system is telling you to go a way that you're not familiar with because
Oh,
maybe GPS picks up on traffic that you're not aware of, or maybe it picks up on a road closure that you don't know anything about. But because you know the way, you still want to go the way that you know to go.
mm.
And I was trying to go full speed ahead with the way I knew. And coach was like, she was cool. She was like, okay, okay. And then it wasn't working. It just was not working. It's like the GPS just keeps rerouting you and you keep going in a circle, but you are determined to go the way you want to go, but it's not working. And finally, she has a feather in the belt, right? You'll learn about that in the class, right? So she was feathering me, it was good. And then she just finally pulled out the belt and she was like, listen, no. And I was like, no,
No.
like, excuse me, no. And so she simply said no. She said what she had to say, and that was it. It wasn't a bad thing, but that's what I call the stretching, right? Because I knew. She said one word, and I knew from that everything that I had done needed to be scrapped and I needed to start over. And I pinged her and I said, you do know this is going to change this, and this. And although I couldn't see her, I'm sure she was like, and I do know that, but it's okay. So that's what I was calling the stretch because it stretched me. That was like day 3. We got 2 more days to go, and you need to tell me everything that we just did is null and void from the title to everything else. I was like, you do know this is going to change that too. Yeah. But the stretch got me to the point I needed to be at.
Mm,
All because, back to the GPS, I was just trying to go the way I knew to go because it was comfortable. But that is not where I needed to be. And coach was like, nope. And she flat footed said no. And I said, okay. And now that we're on the other side of that thing, it's so easy.
mm,
All I had to do was follow the GPS.
mm.
But I didn't want to follow the GPS. I wanted to go my way, my shortcut. And sometimes shortcuts are not short. They're really, really long. And then you don't end up where you're supposed to be, right? Super simple. Because once I got there, I saw the evolution of the thing, right? I saw the whole full circle of the thing that I had forgotten about. So that's what I call the stretch. That stretch almost had me in tears in a good way. But looking back on it, it was necessary because the stretch strengthened me. It strengthened me to trust that sometimes the shortcut is not going to get you to your destination quicker.
Amen.
Sometimes you gotta go the long way. You gotta go through the traffic. You gotta go through the construction. You gotta go through the uncomfortable places because there's a lesson in all of those places and spaces. So that when you do get to the destination, you're not sitting there like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do now that I'm here. I don't have that question, all because of the stretch.
Thank God for the stretch. Woo-wee. And I was sitting here like this, like, okay, here she come. She coming. Okay, here's the pivot. All right. Okay, it's time. Let me tell her. Let me tell her what I've been thinking, what I've been knowing. So now that you're on the other side, that challenge was like 3 weeks ago. Tell us, without telling us, what is next for author Tiffany Easley?
Man, it's like a rebirth. It like it's like a rebirth. So, yeah, I have books, but this book is different. This challenge led me back to the birthing place of where it all started. And when I say where it all started, why I started my business, how I started my business, at the time I started my business, everything is full circle.
Mm.
And it also reminded me that this very place is the place that I stay running from. So if
Oh,
I stay finding the place and I stay running from the place, guess what that means? That's the space. There is a need, there is a population, and I'm there to serve them. So guess what? Sit in it,
oh,
stand in it, show up in it, serve in it, speak in it, shout in it, do whatever it is you need to do, but you need to be in it.
oh.
And that's what the challenge taught me because I literally, again, GPS with my little shortcut, I can dibble dabble over here and I can do all of this and very successful at it. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Very successful in those spaces, but it wasn't the space. It wasn't the sweet spot. It wasn't the thing. It wasn't the sauce that made Tiffany Tiffany,
Mm.
Author Tiffany. Because of the challenge, that rebirth has happened. So I know that everything I do filters from that sweet spot.
Oh, wait. Now I already see what they're doing now. They're like this. Where, when, huh? Where's the link? Drop the link ain't ready yet, y'all. You just have to wait. You have to be on the edge of your seat a little bit longer. Can you give us a little breadcrumb, a little taste, the appetizer, something to give us an idea as to when to expect this beautiful masterpiece to be coming out?
Yes. So I love tight deadlines and things. My goal is to have this to you all in the 7th month of the year. And I did that intentionally because 7 is the number of completion. And because this challenge was full circle for me, I needed to symbolize, I need the book to symbolize exactly what the challenge did for me. Because when I say this challenge came at an interesting time and took me right back to 2012, experiencing the same thing in the same space. And now I understand all of it because I tried to take the shortcut and be like, oh, I'll do that later. No, I'm going to do that now. Now is the so looking forward to that in July. I cannot wait. It's gonna be amazing.
And you have some other things that you are also working on too. And you can drop those if you want to, but I really want people to see themselves inside of your world. So if you want to give us a quick overview as to who is your audience and what do they need from you?
So my audience is that woman or those women who are facing a challenge, be it personal, professional, or even spiritual, and you desire to go beyond that challenge and live a meaningful life and also prioritize your self-care, that's you that's watching this. That's the you I'm coming for. How do I do that? It's simple. um I coach, I empower, I train, I do all of those things to make sure that all of those challenges that are stopping you, that have you complacent, that have you in this mindset of I can't, we're going to flip that to I can. Because I'm telling you, your first step is to get in the challenge. That's
Yes.
your first step, okay? Let's just be real. Get in the challenge. Because the problem with self-care and balancing challenges is the fear of I have to be perfect. I gotta have all the answers. I gotta show up all together. No, you don't. You gotta show up. Just show up. So you have to show up and you have to understand you ain't gotta be cute while you showing up. You just gotta show up. So you need to get in the challenge, show up for yourself every day of the challenge, put in the work, do the mindset work along with the work, physical work, and know that you can have the soaring lifestyle. Yes, that's my baby. That's all the things I talk about. But the biggest part of what we need to understand is there is no challenge that you can overcome if you have the right mindset in place. So get in this challenge. It's going to help you. It is transformative. You will come out a better person, a better author, a better writer, a better thinker, and you'll have an eye to detail that you never thought you could develop. Because I have an eye to my own stuff, and I'm like, that's not going to work. So get in the challenge.
Amen. Amen. If y'all haven't heard that yet, start typing the word challenge. You know how to reach me. You know where to get a hold of me. And if you're on my email list and you still ain't in the challenge, shame on you. I'm coming to get you. How do they get in touch with you, Coach Author Tiffany?
Sure, it's really simple, guys. My website is tiffanyreasley.com. And on all social media platforms, I'm Tiffany R. Easley. And I'm going to do something that most people don't do. You can call me 469 305 0957. 469 305 0957. That's how important it is. If you need just a little push over the edge to get in this challenge, call me. I'm gonna convince you because you need to be in the challenge because it's gonna change your life. It's going to change your life.
Ooh-wee. Y'all heard it. You don't need any more confirmation. If you keep hearing, oh my gosh, I need to be in the challenge. I need to learn how to get a book done. I don't know where to start. I'm so confused. I keep procrastinating. If all of that chatter is going on up here and people have been telling you to get your book out, you've been speaking on stages, showing up to events with no book, come on now. You keep doing that over and over and over again, pretty soon that ruins your credibility. It ruins your reputation. And people are waiting for you to step the hell up and do what you need to do to get to the next level. So you've heard it from me. You've heard it from Tiffany. You've heard it from other folks. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video because something about this title has attracted you here. So there is no more confirmation that you need after this point. You just being downright disobedient. That's all you doing. And I'll leave y'all with this. I used to teach middle school and high school, and I would tell the students, you know what? I believe in you so much. There is no way that you can ever fail. If you fail this class, that means you did it on purpose. That means you sat on the floor and refused to do anything. You did it because you wanted to fail on purpose. That's how much I believe That's how much faith I have in all of you that are watching this, men, women, children, whoever. Do not sit on the floor and decide to fail. Mm-mm. Final words, Tiffany. Those are my final words.
So I'm going to give you 3. Just do it.
Hey, that keeps it
Just
simple.
do it. Just do it. Get out of your own way, get out of your own mind, and just do it. Show up for you. Do something for you. Get in the challenge, show up for yourself every day, and watch some magic happen. Yes, you're going to have to work. Yes, you're going to be challenged. But on the other side of that, you're going to soar. I promise.
Hey, that's all for today, y'all. See you next time.